I see a lot of good players that just can't string more than a couple racks together. And in my opinion, it's not so much their positional play or shot making that's holding them back, but rather their break. Now, I've heard my entire life that the break is the most important shot in pool when it comes to high level play. And so that is what I'm going to be discussing today. Over the past year, I've really seen my 9-ball game plateau. If I get a decent shot in an open rack, I'm more than likely to get out, but my break is so inconsistent and uncontrolled that I almost never leave myself a decent shot. I've known for quite a while that improving my break is going to be the next big step in my game, but I really don't know which break style I should try and master. In my opinion, the simplest and most consistent break is the Corey Dual soft break, but there are rules banning its use in every tournament that I play in. There's the Wu Cha Ching break where you pop the cue ball up and stop it in the center of the table, but I've been trying to master that break for years, and well, if I haven't gotten it down by now, I probably never will. Well, about a month ago, I played in a tournament and ended up running into a familiar face. For the sake of anonymity, let's call him Bob. Bob is Chinese, and Bob is one of the top amateur players here in Korea, and he's a favorite to win just about any tournament that he plays in. And I've played Bob before. In fact, out of the 4 big tournaments that I've played in over the past year, I ended up running into him 3 times. And prior to this, he had beaten me every single time. Now, I usually run into him a couple of rounds into the tournament, which I suppose is inevitable if we're both winning. But this time, I got the pleasure of running into Bob out of 160 players in the very first round. Now, I enjoy challenge, but to run into one of the tournament favorites, the same guy I've never beaten despite having a 2-game handicap, well, let's just call it unfortunate. But this time, I decided to pay attention, especially to his break, because the previous time that he beat me, I was on the hill, and he ended up stringing together 3 break-and runs to come back and take the match. First though, let's cover what the rules here in Korea are for racking and breaking a 9-ball. And pay attention to this part, because this is going to dictate when this break is viable. First of all the tournaments here use a magic rack. I know they have a bad rap in 9-ball in some places, but all the big tournaments here use them. Secondly, the 1-ball is racked on the spot. There are some places that have changed this to have the 9-ball racked on the spot, but here in Korea, we're still racking the 1-ball on the spot. Third, 3 balls have to be driven past the head string. Fail to do this, and it becomes your opponent's option. And if they decide not to shoot, you can't push out. Fourth, it's rack your own. And lastly, the cue ball has to start from somewhere behind the line. It's a pretty standard rule, but in some places they have a smaller box that you have to break from. If you don't use these rules, other than the rack your own, this break probably isn't going to help you out much. But if you do, stick around, because this break might just change the way you play. So anyways, I paid close attention to Bob this time around, and I noticed that he was leaving the 1 within a few inches of the corner pocket every single time. I mean, not only was he able to consistently leave an easy shot on the 1-ball, but it was a hanger. Something that even if he had to kick or jump at, it was still pretty easy to pocket. And of course he's pocketing the wing ball every time because we're using a magic rack. But the best part about this break was that he didn't even have to hit it very hard, and the cue ball was very easy to control. This is a break I can control. This is a break that is consistent. This is a break anybody can master, and it only takes a few hours of practice. Let's discuss what's going on. There are only 2 main variables that you need to focus on with this break: where you aim the 1-ball and the speed that you hit the break at. With the cue ball placed about 1 ball from the rail and just behind the line, focus on where you are aiming the 1-ball. Hitting the 1-ball dead on from this angle would make the 1-ball in the side pocket, which is a popular break when you can't make the wing ball. But that isn't what we want to do here. Since the wing ball is dropping every time we break, guaranteeing us the next shot, we want to try and send the 1-ball to a spot where we have an easy shot on it every time. So instead of trying to hit the 1-ball dead on, aim the 1-ball like you're trying to hit an object that is about 1.5 to 2 inches from the first diamond. You'll be slightly cutting it. See the coin that I have sitting on the table, just to the right of the first diamond? That's what I'm aiming the 1-ball at. This causes the 1-ball to hit the long rail just below the side pocket and then travel towards the corner. The only other thing that you really have to focus on for this break is the speed. Your goal should be to get the 1-ball to stop in front of the corner pocket. Sometimes, even if you hit it too hard, you're still left with a shot on the 1 because the 1-ball hits the rail just to the left or to the right of the corner pocket, and it still stays right in front. As for where I'm hitting the cue ball, I'm simply putting about a tip to a tip and a half of bottom English on the cue ball. You don't need to hit this shot hard at all, and I got to where I could feel if I hit it right before the cue ball even reached the 1. The little bit of bottom serves to keep the cue ball near the middle of the table, though you could put a bit more bottom on it to bring it closer down to where the 1-ball will end up. The only thing that you need to be careful of when shooting this break is the speed. If you hit it too soft, you're likely to not get 3 balls past the head string. And if you hit it too hard, the one ball probably falls into the corner pocket. But even if that happens, you've still made a ball on the break, and the cue ball is typically in the center of the table, so you have a good chance at having a shot on your next ball. And that's it. That's all there is to it. It's a simple break that satisfies the 3 balls past the head string rule, and you're almost always left with an easy shot on the one ball. Even if I get blocked by another ball, I can typically just jump it. And the one ball is so close to the pocket that it's still an easy shot. Check out my jumping tutorial, link in the description if you don't know how to jump. This break is simple, consistent, and easy to control. There aren't any crazy mechanics like standing up while you hit it. Just hit the break like you would a normal shot at an easy to control speed. This break is game changing. Go try it out.